What if I told you there was a secret, a formula for success so powerful it could literally change your life? Well, back in 1937, a guy named Napoleon Hill published Think and Grow Rich, and he claimed to have done just that. He said he'd been given a universal formula by one of the richest men who ever lived. And the best part? Anyone, and he meant anyone, could use it.
And just listen to this. That quote is from the steel tycoon Andrew Carnegie himself. He said that a single application of this secret was worth $600 million. That's in early 20th century money, by the way, so we're talking billions today. Just think about that. A single idea worth billions.
So that's the big question, right? What is this secret? Now here's the interesting part. Hill wrote an entire book about it, but he never actually comes out and says, the secret is. He drops hints all the way through, leaving it for the reader to put the pieces together. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now.
Okay, so where did this whole thing come from? Well, it all started with a challenge from Andrew Carnegie to a very young Napoleon Hill. See, Carnegie didn't believe success was about luck. He was sure it was a formula. So he gave Hill a mission: spend the next 20 years studying the world's most successful people, without pay, to prove this formula existed and then share it with the world.
And what Hill found was pretty mind-blowing. This so-called secret was the one thing that connected all the heavy hitters of his time. We're talking about industrial titans like Henry Ford, genius inventors like Thomas Edison, and even presidents like Woodrow Wilson. They were all in on it. They knew the formula, and they were using it.
So you see, this book isn't just about feeling good or getting inspired. It's meant to be a practical, step-by-step guide. Hill's whole promise is that if you're truly ready for it, you can use this secret to get anything you want in life. The riches he talks about aren't just money, it's any kind of success.
All right, here we go. This is our first major clue to cracking the secret. Every single thing ever achieved, every fortune ever built, it all started in the exact same place, as just an idea, a little spark inside someone's head.
But here's the thing. An idea on its own is, well, pretty much useless. It's just a thought. According to Hill, the very first step is to take that idea and turn it into something more. You have to fan that spark into an all-consuming, burning desire.
And Hill is super clear about this distinction. A wish is passive. It's, gosh, I hope I get that promotion. A desire, in his world, is an active obsession. It's a crystal clear goal that you chase with so much intensity that the idea of failing isn't even an option. It's a completely different level of commitment.
And this next story just perfectly nails the point. There was this guy, Edwin C. Barnes. He was, for all intents and purposes, a nobody, but he had this one single burning desire. He wanted to become a business partner with the great Thomas Edison. Not just work for him, but with him. He had no money, no connections, nothing, but he showed up at Edison's lab anyway. He took a low-level job, and for 5 long years, he just kept that one goal in his mind, waiting. And then his chance came. He literally thought himself into a partnership with the world's greatest inventor.
Okay, so desire is the fuel that gets you started. But what keeps you going when you inevitably hit a wall? Let's get to the next piece of the puzzle, which is illustrated by probably one of the most famous stories in the entire book.
Hill makes this incredible point that what most of us call failure isn't really failure at all. It's just temporary defeat. And he says the #1 reason people give up is because they stop right when things get hard, not having any idea just how close they are to breaking through.
So let me tell you about R.U. Darby's uncle. During the gold rush, he staked a claim, and sure enough, he struck gold, a huge vein of it. He thought he was set for life. But then, just as suddenly as it appeared, the vein was gone. It just vanished. They drilled and drilled, desperately trying to find it again, but nothing. Absolutely heartbroken, they finally gave up, sold all their machinery to a local junkman for a few bucks, and went home defeated. Now, the junkman who bought their equipment, he was a little curious. So he did something Darby's uncle didn't. He hired a mining engineer to come take a look at the mine. And what that engineer found was that the Darbys had stopped drilling just 3 feet from the main vein. That junkman went on to take millions of dollars out of that very same mine. The lesson that Darby learned the hard way was that you can't give up just because you hit a patch of temporary defeat. They quit just one final effort too soon. So you see, the second key ingredient in the secret is persistence. It's the engine that keeps desire moving forward. It's that stubborn, iron-willed refusal to take no for an answer. As Hill puts it, failure simply cannot cope with persistence. Eventually, it just gets tired and gives up. All right, so we've got desire and we've got persistence.
That's the mindset stuff. But you can't just grit your teeth and wish your way to success, right? You need a roadmap. And this is where we shift from attitude to the actual mechanics of how to get things done.
Now, this next idea is a real game changer. You've heard the saying, knowledge is power, right? Well, Hill says that's flat out wrong. Knowledge is only potential power. It's useless on its own. It only becomes actual, real power when you organize it into a definite plan and aim it at a specific goal. It's the difference between owning a pile of bricks and building a house.
So here's the actual blueprint Hill lays out for us. First, you've got to get the specialized knowledge you need for your goal, not just random facts. Second, you have to create concrete, practical plans to put that knowledge to work. And third, and this one is huge, you have to surround yourself with people who can help you.
Hill calls this a mastermind alliance. The idea is that when two or more people work together towards a definite purpose, in a spirit of real harmony, they create this sort of third, invisible mind that's way more powerful than their individual minds combined. It's basically about creating a superbrain through strategic teamwork.
Okay, we've collected all the pieces. We have a burning desire, unwavering persistence, definite plans, applied knowledge, and a mastermind alliance. Now, it's time to put it all together and finally reveal Carnegie's big secret. So, after everything we've talked about, what is that one single unifying idea that Andrew Carnegie thought was worth a fortune?
And the answer is, the secret isn't a single magic word. The secret is the system itself. It's realizing that all these things, desire, persistence, planning, knowledge, they aren't separate tips. They are all interlocking parts of one powerful machine. A machine designed to do one thing, take a thought from your head and turn it into its real-world physical equivalent.
And that's the real key right there. The entire system is powered by you. It all comes down to your ability to control your own mind, to focus your thoughts on what you want, and to protect them from fear, doubt, and negativity. You have to consciously choose to create what Hill calls a success consciousness instead of a failure consciousness. And that's why the book ends with this famous line. It perfectly sums up the entire philosophy. The secret, ultimately, is knowing that you have total control over your thoughts, and because of that, you have total control over your destiny. The only question left is, what are you going to do with that power?